Nea's Kalis reeled back. She urged them on and they advanced like corks bobbing on ripples of light. 3 moved slowly toward Grim Hagen's machine. A 4th faltered and fell back. The Kalis were no longer screaming their frightful song. The purr of victory was gone. Instead, they yowled a savage, tormented scream as though they had been cornered by an enemy they could not understand. But the 3 moved forward while the 4th hesitated behind them, as though struggling against a heavy flood they came on. The gun crew died defending their whirling weapon. The 3 Kalis swarmed over it like bees smothering the enemy, Odin thought. The pulsing, coiling light died. There was a burst of flame. The weapon and the 3 Kalis suddenly became one immense sardonyx that blazed huge and grand for a brief moment. Then the jewel blaze burned out, and a handful of ashes sifted to the ground. The 4th Kali was undone. It tried to go forward against the jewel fire, then it hesitated and darted back. With a shrill cry of fear, it flung itself into Nea's arms, its coppery tentacles holding her close in a last effort to escape destruction. She had said before that the Kalis were nearest things to human that could be made. She had been the poor relation, the daughter of a dreaming failure. Perhaps something of the fear and doubt which Nea had known all her life had gone into the making of the Kalis. She screamed once, more in bewilderment than pain, as though a favorite cat had suddenly clawed her. She must have been dead before she fell, and the last Kali clung to her bosom and spread its coppery wires about her face. It emitted one weak purr, then it stopped purring and moving forever. Grim Hagen's Lorens, who had been clinging to the hedges now, came forward triumphantly. Strength came back to Gunnar and Odin. The attackers had cleared the stairway again, and once more Gunnar and Odin threw them back. By now both Ato and Maya had swung their shattered little armies over to the subway entrance. Hagen had retreated from the dais. Meeting the advancing Lorens, he led them forward. Those on the stairway retreated as they saw that they were no longer against 2 warriors. Gunnar rested his sword against his leg and reached out with huge arms and pulled Ato and Odin toward him. "Down there," he pointed toward the stairway, "there is plenty of room to fight, and those who have been coming up don't seem to be so strong. Force your way down there and make another stand. Make a barricade if you can. Up here you will soon be surrounded." "But Grim Hagen will be at our heels," Odin protested. Gunnar laughed deep in his throat. "Oh no. The stairway is narrow. A strong man could hold the entrance for some time. Perhaps a long, long time, and Gunnar is strong. To get at you, Grim Hagen would either have to go down this stairway or take another entrance. These entrances are few and far apart." "Go with Maya, Ato," Odin said, "and I will stay here with Gunnar." "No, the entrance is narrow. You would be in the way," Gunnar protested. "Now go. Oh, but the Valkyries will be busy tonight." Ato and Odin led the rush down the stairs. There were only a dozen men below, and they had already tired of warfare. 3 fell, and the others rushed off into the shadows. Ato and Maya's fighters tumbled after them. There were only a few of the old people and children left. Now they found themselves in a huge room which was filled with benches and small machines. It was evidently a woodworking shop. The room was lit by several of the high flaring cressets of stone. It was rectangular, about the size of a football field. They were fortunate that there were no heavy machinery left here. From each side, dim lighted tunnels led off into the distance. While Odin and the strongest soldiers guarded, Ato and his people shoved benches, tables, and chairs to the 4 tunnels and set them afire. There were still quite a number of benches left, and some of these were stacked close together into one corner of the room, making a sort of rude balcony that looked down upon the littered floor. More benches and machines were left. These were made into a barricade a few yards in front of the balcony. All was done now that could be done, so Odin rushed back up the stairway to help Gunnar. But his heart sank as he stood at the foot of the stairs. Up there was nothing but swirling violet flame. Some liquid was burning furiously at the entranceway, and blazing rivulets were pouring down the steps. There was no way to go through these flames. There was now no way to go around. Gunnar, if he lived at all, must fight alone. And Odin's eyes filled with tears as he cursed himself for deserting his old comrade. The attackers were almost upon Gunnar before the last of Maya's ragtag army had gone down the stairs. There were high banisters around the entranceway. These afforded plenty of protection to his back and flanks unless someone scaled them, which he doubted. One of the heavy cressets was burning nearby. It seemed to be no more than a huge open lamp. Standing upon a circular base about 3 feet across, the 12-inch stem went up nearly 8 feet and then flared out into a tulip-shaped bowl that was filled with flickering violet fire. Bending low, Gunnar grasped the bottom of the stem and moved it a little closer to the stairway entrance. It took all his strength, but it moved, complaining as it slid along the flagging. Now he was almost under it. The light was in his opponent's faces, and it gave a little added protection to his left side. Gunnar braced himself, his long blade high over his shoulder, both hands locked to the long carved haft. "Grim Hagen," he called mockingly. "Here we are at the edge of the stars, just you and I left on top of this world. Just you and I of the 2 crews that sailed from Opal. The mad gods have made bonfires of the suns. Ragnarok has come and passed. I have no quarrel with these people, Grim Hagen. Come forward now and let the 2 of us end what should have been ended long ago." Grim Hagen silenced his men and scrambled back. "Gunnar, what I say now I have said before. I promised you death, but I will let you go free. And all the frightened rats below can go free if you will give me Wolden's secret." "I know nothing of Wolden's secret. It may be nothing but a twitch in your mad brain. The old blood drinker and I know but one secret, Grim Hagen, the secret of death. Step forth like a man now and I promise you more peace than even Wolden's secret could give you." Grim Hagen said no more to Gunnar. He sent 4 companies in the direction of other entrances to the underground city. Then he marshaled his remaining men and threw them toward Gunnar in threes. 3 by 3 they came, and 3 by 3 they went down. Braced on his strong short legs, Gunnar flailed them like wheat. Screams and curses filled the night, and Gunnar piled the dead before him. One by one the companies returned to Grim Hagen and reported that for the present there was no other way into the room below. Grim Hagen held a short council of war. He had less than a score of the white-skinned soldiers left. These he sent at Gunnar in a body, and came following after with the remaining Lorens. Gunnar cut them down, but a leaping soldier died as he buried his knife in Gunnar's side. The Lorens were throwing sticks and stones when they could. They closed in like dogs upon a wolf. Gunnar reeled back and then advanced once more as he swung his broadsword. He cleared a path and sent his attackers back until they stood about him in a circle, their fangs ready. And then Gunnar reached forth and took the stem of the huge torch high up in his hands and bowed his back. The lamp rocked upon its pedestal and then came crashing forward. Its fuel spilled down and caught fire as it fell. Flames leaped up and lashed out at the Lorens. The fierce flames drove the attackers farther back. But in falling, the great lamp careened and half its liquid had splashed across the entrance to the tunnel. It caught fire. Gunnar gasped as it struck him. Then he strode forward like a dwarf king advancing from hell. A thrown knife caught him in the chest. Gunnar took another step, and another knife caught him below the throat. He stood there, trying to go on, and a mace thudded against his temple. Gunnar reeled back into the flames. End of chapter 16.